Hey guys, YouTuber100 here, and this is actually a video that I've actually wanted to do for a little while, but I decided to just come on here and just kind of tell you guys some of the wrestlers from WCW and ECW that I think really should have been a part of the Invasion storyline in 2001. Yeah, now we all know, oh yes, some people like the Invasion storyline, and people don't like the Invasion storyline. Yeah, and yeah, we all know that there were a lot of people from the WCW ECW alliance that were just yeah, I mean, they were missing a lot of people, especially on the WCW side. And I just decided to come on here and just kind of just tell you guys who people from both WCW and ECW that I really think should have been a part of the Invasion storyline 2001. Alright. Now, let me just start off with this. Now, I'm going to start with the WCW part. I'm going to just start off with the guys from WCW that really should have been part of the Invasion storyline. Alright. Now, obviously, of course, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Goldberg, and Sting. All five of those guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sting probably, he really did not want to join the WWF at all, and there's actually a video on YouTube of Sting explaining why he didn't want to. Yeah, I'll probably put a link to that video in the description box if you haven't seen it before, and if you want to see why he didn't go to WWF. Yeah, so, yeah. There'll probably be a link in the description box to the video of him explaining that, alright? Yeah, but Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Goldberg. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all know that during the Invasion storyline, AOL, Time Warner, whatever, own their contracts, so WWE couldn't sign them yet. But the thing is, that WWE should have just waited for them to be ready to sign, because, yeah, especially the NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Nash. I mean, they just came to the WWF like 4 months or something after the Invasion storyline ended. So yeah, I think they could have waited a little longer to get Hogan, Nash, and Hall. Yeah, it took Goldberg a little bit longer for that. Goldberg came in 2003, but yeah, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, they really should have been a part of the WCW part. Yeah, Hulk Hogan could have been leader of the WCW part of the alliance, and so if they were a part of it, and yeah, so those three obviously could have been a part of it. Goldberg, maybe they could have done it without him, since it took Goldberg longer than what it took NWO to come. But yeah, Goldberg still would have been a really good part of the alliance. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the big stars in WCW. Yeah, he could have been arguably been the leader too. And I already talked about Sting, so yeah. And another guy, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, I mean, we know that him and Vince McMahon have had kind of like their little battles before. Or so yeah, maybe Randy Savage didn't want to join for that, but yeah, he still could have been there for the WCW side. Yeah. And Lex Luger, I'm not sure about him. He's another guy I have, but yeah, Lex Luger, yeah, he was a part of WCW before he came to the WWF, and then, yeah, he then went back to WCW. And so, yeah, he could have been a part of the Invasion storyline too. And Buff Bagwell, yeah, he did have one match in WWF when he main evented that episode of Raw against Booker T for the WCW title. Yeah, but after that he was just gone. I really thought that he could have stuck around for the entire storyline. And yeah, because he was one of the kind of popular guys in the WCW, and people really know him. So yeah, he really could have just stuck around for the entire storyline. Yeah. And Eric Bischoff. Yeah, I really thought he could have been the owner of WCW instead of Shane McMahon, because Shane McMahon was not even a part of WCW. Yeah, Eric Bischoff could have been the owner of WCW if they would have just been able to get him. Yeah, so Eric Bischoff, I thought really should have been owner of WCW in the storyline. And if they couldn't get Eric Bischoff, they always had Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair showed up on WWF the night after the Invasion storyline ended. And they could have gotten Ric Flair to be the owner if they weren't able to get Eric Bischoff. Yeah. And also, Rey Mysterio and Conan, they could have came with Billy Kidman, and they could have been filthy animals. Animals there still. I guess I can kind of see why they didn't want to bring in Rey Mysterio for the storyline, because Rey Mysterio has pretty much always been a face in his entire career, and they probably just didn't want to make him a heel. So I guess I can understand why they didn't want to bring in Rey Mysterio for that. Yeah. And I think they could have also possibly brought in Jeff Jarrett to be part of the storyline also. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett was big in WCW in like its final year or whatever. Yeah, they could have brought in him for the storyline also. So, yeah, alright. Okay, let's get to ECW now. Now, there's not really as much ECW guys I have as much as WCW, because there were pretty much a lot of the big guys in ECW were in the storyline. I mean, you had Taz, Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, the Dudley Boys, Raven. Even, yeah, I mean, you had Rhino in there also. Yeah. And just incredible. Yeah, so there were a lot of really big ECW guys in the alliance for the storyline, but there were just some people that I think really could have been a part of the ECW part of the alliance, so let me just get started with those. Alright, first off, of course, the Sandman. I think the Sandman would have been awesome for ECW in the storyline. I mean, he could have really kicked Stone Cold's ass. That's when he was like bullying Taz and Raven and all those guys. Yeah. So the Sandman would have been good for the ECW alliance. And same thing could be said for Sabu. Sabu would have also been great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the Sandman and Sabu were the two really big guys from ECW that the alliance were missing. Yeah, so those two really could have been a part of the Invasion storyline. They could have been a part of the alliance. Yeah, that would have been awesome if those guys were a part of it. Yeah. Another guy, Balls Mahoney. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Balls Mahoney would have been awesome in the storyline also. I mean, it would have been awesome for Balls Mahoney to be there too. Yeah. And also, Too Cold Scorpio. I think Too Cold Scorpio would have been great in the storyline. Yeah, I mean, Too Cold Scorpio is one of the most underrated wrestlers in ECW. Not a lot of people talk about him in ECW. Yeah, he was missing from the alliance, and I think he would have been awesome. Yeah. And also Shane Douglas. Shane Douglas could have been a part of the ECW alliance, just like Raven. Yeah, I mean, he was also in WCW, but yeah, just like Raven, he's probably more known for being in ECW. Yeah, former ECW champion, arguably the greatest ECW champion of all time. Yeah, so Shane Douglas would have been great. And also Jerry Lynn. Yeah, I mean, Jerry Lynn, he was a part of the WWF before the Invasion storyline, but yeah, I think he got released just like a couple of months before it started or something. Yeah, they could have had Jerry Lynn be a part of those WWF guys who just turned to ECW that night when RVD and Tommy Dreamer came through the crowd. Yeah, and all those WWF guys who were ECW alumni coming out and just like joining forces with them. Yeah, Jerry Lynn could have been a part of that. So yeah, Jerry Lynn would have been good for the storyline also. And also Terry Funk. I think Terry Funk would have been good for the storyline also. Yeah. Even though Terry Funk was probably way past his prime when the Invasion storyline happened, I really think that they could have used him in the storyline also. Yeah. And another thing, I think they also could have had some commentators for the alliance, kind of like in the WCW ECW event in 2006, they had JR and King for WWE and Joey Styles and Taz for ECW. I think they could have had a commentary team for the Alliance also. I mean, sure, they had Paul Heyman on commentary for the Alliance, yeah. Yeah, but I think they could have just, like, Paul Heyman could have just been owner of ECW in the storyline. They could have just brought in, like, Michael Cole to be an announcer with JR. And they could have had just an Alliance commentary team. Like, they could have had, like, a WCW guy like Scott Hudson or Tony Schiavone or someone be the commentator on the WCW side, and Joey Styles be the ECW one. You know, I mean, what would you think of that if there was, like, a team of Scott Hudson and Joey Styles on commentary for the Alliance? Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the list of people who should have been a part of the Alliance in the Invasion storyline. So yeah. Alright, so yeah. Yeah, if these guys were a part of the Alliance in the Invasion storyline, I think it would have been a lot better than what it was because of all the lack of star power in the Alliance, especially in the WCW side. I mean, a bunch of mid-carders other than guys like Booker T. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Booker T was pretty much the only top guy in WCW, and even then, he was only a top guy in, like, the final year of WCW. Yeah, so, yeah. So that's just my list of guys I really thought should have been the Invasion storyline. Alright, if there's someone that you really want to be a part of the Invasion storyline from WCW and ECW, you can just put it down in the comments. Alright, so, yeah. That's all I have to say about this. Alright, so, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.